I'm excited to talk today about the future of learning. It sounds like you have a great program, and for us to think together about the kinds of experiences we want our students to have uh, online, on campus, and at the intersection of the two. And this is something I think a lot about, coming at it from a variety of different perspectives. As a student myself, thinking about my own experience and being a lifelong learner. Secondly, as a father to two young kids. Third, as a part-time faculty member, and fourth, as an educational consultant. And so what I thought I'd do is share a short story from each of those perspectives, because I'm a firm believer in science fiction author William Gibson's idea that the future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed. And so if we reflect on our own experiences and those of others, we can find some signposts that point to the future. And so first, thinking about my experience as a grad student at MIT, I had a fantastic experience. You know, MIT is this amazing place where you turn any corner and you find somebody who knows more than you, who's working harder than you, who's maybe a little bit weirder or as weird as you are. And I met great people, but it was a time of transition. We had a new dean, an outgoing department chair, and I was on the student government, and we sort of stepped up to do, in a way, what foreshadows a lot of the consulting work. We did a student survey, we did town hall meetings, we compared ourselves to other departments, and out of that, we focused in on three big issues for students: the visibility and the support for thesis projects as a real culmination of the experience, equity in teaching assistant pay. Turns out we were getting about half of what other departments were paying. And then course scheduling that was inhibiting cross-enrollment with other departments. And that interdisciplinarity was like such a cornerstone of MIT. So we got together as student leaders and we came up with solutions. And the new dean, to her credit, was so excited to not just hear complaints, but hear solutions, that we adopted all of them. And I think improved the experience dramatically for hundreds of students. And to me, the real lesson from that is, if we want to think about the future of learning, if we want to think about the kinds of experiences that will motivate and enrich and empower students, we have to envision it with them. You know, we have to co-create with our students. We have to give them a chance to lead. And I think that's so important, because the future of learning has to be this conversation. It has to be this co-creation. I think the second story I want to share is from my experience as a father. I've got two kids, 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And until about a year and a half ago, we lived in New York City, where if you want to move into advanced placement classes or tracking, it starts in kindergarten, which is kind of crazy. So here I was sitting on the couch with my not quite 4-year-old looking at a practice test. And we read the question, which I'll never forget. And it said, Dan has 5 balloons and he pops 3. How many does he have left? And Nora, to her credit, didn't spit out 2 like a calculator or a machine would, but she said, why did he pop the balloons? And I thought to myself, that's a much better question. And really, as we think about the future and as we think about automation, we really need to be thinking about how we unlock the creativity of people, how we help people understand each other, and how we help understand, you know, what's going on with Dan. Why is he popping these balloons? That's much more important than knowing that 2 are left. And I think that's so important. You know, McKinsey's latest effort looking at automation, the impact of automation, over the next 10 years, 15 to 30% of jobs will go away due to automation. That's 400 to 800 million jobs. So we really need to be thinking about, you know, what Northeastern's president calls robot-proof jobs that are about people, that are about human experience, that are about creativity. The third perspective I want to share is my experience as a part-time faculty member. I've been lucky enough to be a teaching assistant and a guest lecturer, and some years ago teach a couple classes of my own in innovation in Parsons Design and Management program. And what I was really lucky to be a part of is the redesign of a course from basically a lecture kind of masquerading as a seminar into a more hands-on studio format. And I was able to see firsthand the impact of active learning when students were able to work on projects that really tapped into their passion, that put them on a career path, that helped them build skills, and help them work on what you might call what are called renewable assignments, right? Not a problem set that you finish and then you throw in the trash when you hand it in and get your grade, but the kinds of real world applied problems that pique the creativity and spark an interest, the kinds of things they're going to keep noodling on. In this case, it was we had them design a service, a place, and a business model, using the business model canvas. And it was amazing to see students come alive and in a way start to get a sense of what their future might hold by working on the kinds of projects they'd be doing in the future. And I think that's the lesson there is that active learning really works. And I think there have been so many studies that show this. One of my favorites is one in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences that showed that in STEM courses, active learning cut failure rates in half, moving from about 30% to 20% failure rate average, and increasing everyone by about one letter grade in terms of performance. So active learning definitely has to be a part of the future. And the fourth perspective I wanted to share is my experience as a consultant. I've been lucky enough to work with over 100 colleges and universities, big and small, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and public, private research, teaching, and I have the soft spot for UVA. It's where I went as an undergrad, and they're one of our clients. And maybe 5 years ago, they, in an effort to move their advising program from, call it good to great, they had done a survey, and the survey revealed good levels of satisfaction, but maybe not as high as they'd like. And they had a hypothesis that maybe advising needed to be redesigned because it was quite dispersed. And so Brightspot was asked to think about what's behind these survey ratings, what's behind this kind of medium level of satisfaction. And so we shadowed students and we interviewed them and looked at the data. And I think from that, we definitely confirmed this diffuse world of advising and the need to co-locate different services and departments and advisors. But we also uncovered the value that students had in the personal connection with an advisor and the fact that they got about an order of magnitude more advice from their peers than from faculty or staff. So it really became an advising redesign project to think about how to bring together the different aspects of student support, academic, career, social. So you could go to one place and have a psychological counseling session, or find out about studying abroad, or get help on a research project from the library, or get technology help from IT, or get career development advice from the Career Center. And I think more than just bringing together the services, we also did it in a way that blended study and support because we put it within the library. And so the idea was more than 24 different units could come together to share space and share services and share ideas, and do it in a way that made the help visible, that made getting help normal, not something that has a stigma associated with it. There's nothing bad with going to the writing center and helps demystify things. You know, a lot of students think that tutoring actually costs money, and so they don't, because it, you know, it does in high school. So they don't turn up to a student success center. And so we really wanted to make the help visible, to blend study and support, and do it in a way that blends academic, social, personal, career, because students really don't distinguish. These things all go together in their mind, and a lot of it comes from peers. So we really leveraged a peer-to-peer model. So at one table, you might have a student talking to her peer mentor. At the next table over, you might have two students that are working on a project, and that co-location of services, the integration of the support services, is so important as we think about not yesterday's student, but today's student and the post-traditional student, with new needs, different lived experience, and that's shown in the data. There's, our particular project reduced dissatisfaction by about a third and increased it by about a third. So it had a real impact. But RAND has also done a study of 4 systems where a single stop of student services increases retention 3 percentage points year over year, which is a big deal. So the lesson really is bringing together different services, blending study and support, to provide a much more holistic approach to the student experience. And I think if we do these things, if we co-create with our students, if we give them opportunities to lead, if we think about unlocking the creativity of people, let people be people, not an imitation of a calculating machine. If we give students a chance to apply what they're learning to something they care about, to work on renewable assignments, to solve real problems for real people, and we do it in a way where they have holistic support, we'll really be well on our way to creating the kinds of learning experiences that we all hope our students can have online and on campus and at the intersection of them. And I want to close by talking a little bit about what I think are the key things to get there. And I think my hope is these will be particularly helpful as you think about your campus planning activity that this Learning Week will inform and inspire. And I think the first is particularly relevant coming out of, or let's hope coming out of the pandemic, where we all learned a bit of a paradox. I think we all learned that we can do more online, but we value being together in person even more. And I think that means a new focus for the campus. I think the focus of the campus is really on community, on creativity, on collaboration. It's using space to help foster belonging and connections. It's using space to do things that you can't do as well or at all online. It's the dance studio, it's the lab, it's the maker space. I think secondly, it's really about bridging academic, social, and career, bridging the divide between academic affairs and student affairs, so that we're creating a much more holistic and integrated approach to inspiring and informing and supporting our students. And I think if we do these things, we're really helping students get the most out of their college experience, and we're helping them have more connected experiences where they're better connected to the information they need, the support services they need, to opportunity, to inspiration, and to the place they're in and to each other. And I look forward to hearing your questions and hope this was helpful as you think about your own future.